What's going on, Growler fans? It is Tuesday, May 23rd, and yes, I had to look at my paper to confirm that. And you're tuned into the Doghouse. Once again, Chris Ballard, joined by Brady, Reid, and Kyle Curtis, and we're here to sum up Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals and help tee up the rest of the series now that it's shifting right back to our barn at the Mary Brown Center. Well, that was better, fellas, in Game 3 for the Growlers. A 4-1 victory in a game that had more penalty minutes than anything else. But let's not dive into that just yet. A heck of a bounce-back game for the Growlers. What did you see, Brady, that allowed them to find that success in Game 3?
I think we probably have to start with the goaltending change, right? It was something we all debated. It was a difficult decision to make, but probably the right one in the end. The guys played well in front of him, but Luke made 3 or 4 5-star saves himself, and
yeah, he did.
And maybe even kickstarted a goal with his pad on one of those plays. We're lobbying for an assist for Luke, so we'll see what we can do there. But overall, like you said, a much better effort.
No, for sure. I mean, Casey, what did you like? Maybe specifically on the offensive side of the puck. You know, the Growlers had been outscored a little bit to start the series, but had a 4-0 lead through 40 minutes yesterday. I mean, what did you see that allowed the offense to find that success?
I think head coach Eric Wellwood's shaking up the lines kind of sparked the offense a little bit. I really like that top line, like what I would call the grinder line with Solo and Skirving, and then having that skilled, greatest growler of all time, Zach O'Brien, up with him.
Love that.
But I also loved having Centazzo with Bolin. I feel like their games complemented each other so well that they were passing the puck and it's like they weren't even talking to each other out there. It was crazy.
Yeah, and I think they took maybe a little while to find that groove again. Bolin obviously coming down late. OC was a bit banged up, but I still think that there's another couple of levels available from those guys as well, which certainly bodes well when the series shifts back here to St. John's. Let's lock back in on Luke Cavalin for a bit. Hadn't started a game since Game 1 of the entire Kelly Cup playoffs. Didn't have a good night then. Hadn't really been given an opportunity to reassert himself, and he did exactly that last night. 30 saves on 31 shots. What did you like about his game last night, Casey?
I mean, it really speaks to the goaltender he is for a guy who's just been sitting the bench and working hard in practices to come in and make those stops like that and play in such a big game where, as if the Growlers would have lost, it might have been the end of the series. Mm-hmm. So he kind of rallied the team, and I feel like the team plays really well in front of him. I don't know if it's just the energy that he gives off, or because I know a couple times he's, he chats out there, Cavalin does.
He doesn't mind.
Yeah, it's really nice to see him come in and perform the way he did and make such huge stops and momentum saves that caused the offense to go out and score a few goals.
No, I think you're right. And Brady, one thing I almost forgot the Growlers may have been missing on the back end was the puck handling ability of Luke Cavalin. He really did help move the puck for the Growlers last night.
100%, yeah. I mean, that was one of the things we said Florida were doing well, was getting in on the Growlers' D-core before they could make those quick plays. And if you watch back a few of their goals, the time between, a Florida shot attempt and a goal at the other end sometimes was 4 or 5 seconds, just really quick in transition. And like you said, I mean, his presence back there can't be understated and all of that. And he's certainly the first guy to give credit to a D-man for a block, too. Just good vibes, good goaltending, and just what we know from Luke Cavalin, sorry.
No, for sure. And the vibes were great in that game through 40 minutes. The third period, the vibes got away from us a little bit. I mean, I don't have it all segmented out by period. Definitely, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 by my count misconducts in the final minute alone. What did you make of kind of how that game ended in that sense?
I think Florida kind of, were upset that they were getting tossed in their home barn around like that. And, it's kind of the way they've been playing is they're playing a lot of physical game, like in our zone, in their zone. But it's playoff hockey, that stuff's going to happen. It's going to unravel. I think it sets up for a really interesting game number 4 at the Mary Brown Center.
Sure
I think
does.
There's going to be maybe a few tussles out there on the ice, and I think it really helped the series move forward, I think.
Yeah, Brady?
Yeah, I actually think it was a good thing for the Growlers.
I agree.
Florida looked like a team that was realizing they had to come back here for 4 games or potentially 4 games, and momentum was clearly shifting in favor of Newfoundland as they got ready to board that plane together. We can maybe get into that after. But no, I think the night before when the Growlers were up 3-1, there's a lot of teams that might have just folded.
Yeah.
And the Everblades had an incredible response and ended up stealing that game. So to see that they maybe didn't have that in the tank last night, they managed to get 1 goal, meaningless in the end, really. But no, it looked like Newfoundland had controlled the game through 40 minutes, and Florida said, well, we're going to find another way to bite back here.
Yeah, I mean, so many good offensive performances last night. I mean, all 4 goal scorers. Those are some of the better goals the Growlers have scored thus far in the postseason. A great feed from Zach O'Brien to find Keenan Suthers in front. Couldn't be more thrilled that he's found some hot hands here in these Kelly Cup playoffs. And it's funny, even listening into some of the interviews on the Florida side, boy, do they not like having to deal with him parked in front of the net, which is certainly music to the Growlers' ears. But his goal was great. Oren Centazzo, what a finish on his goal there on that great pass from Boland. Skirving's, I mean, that's just more of a hard-nosed hockey goal 100%. For sure. Throw it off the pads, and if you've ever tuned into a Growler hockey game, you've heard me scream almost ad nauseum, make the goalie make the save. Even if you're shot, it's probably might not be a grade A, and like that wasn't. Sorry, Todd. But no, that was an elite play and just a stick-to-itiveness style of play. And then the final goal, Isaac Johnson. I mean, that's a tailor-made 2-on-1, using the second player, Keenan Suthers in this instance, as the decoy to draw the goalie, have him thinking, and then you beat him. That's a heck of a way to finish the offense. 100%. Shifting back, though, to the Mary Brown Center, KC, I mean, putting all the pieces together from Game 3, does this not give the Growlers a heck of a lot of momentum heading back home?
Oh, obviously it does, I think. And now where they're in our stadium with our fans, I feel like the momentum's just going to keep shifting towards Newfoundland's favor. I think they're gonna tie up the series here in Game 4. I think we're going to see a great Zach O'Brien game. In game number 4, he looked really good. In game 3, looking more like himself after his return. Mm-hmm. You know, he had a lot of quality chances out front. He was entering the zone like he normally does.
True.
I feel like
it was his best looking game for a while for the Growlers, for sure. Do we expect this physicality to carry over? I don't know how it could not.
Yeah, I know. We always talk about, me and you, we go back and forth about, is there game-to-game momentum?
Is it a thing?
This feels hard to just shut off, right?
Yeah.
To come in and play a clean hockey game, but I think that would also be advantage Growlers, right? So I don't know. I'm very curious to see how the first period of Thursday night looks. But it's hard not to be a lot more optimistic after last night.
No, certainly. And I think that's fair, because I think if you were to maybe, what am I trying to say? Not look at how the Growlers found themselves to be down 2-1 in the series, I think Growler fans would be okay with a win and 2 losses coming home against a really good Everblades team. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone was okay with losing games 1 and 2, but I do think the way that they won in Game 3 is going to give this team a lot of momentum heading back, especially when, I mean, you can choose to look through whichever lens you will on how you want to understand that third period, but it really looked like, to me at least, the Growlers are in the Everblades' heads.
Yeah, I believe they're in Cam Johnson's head as well, after what happened.
Well, you know what's not going to be on someone's head is the helmet he stomped on and broke. I heard there's an invoice being sent out to Cam personally for that one there. But no, that's a great example, though, of the Everblades. They do seem frustrated.
Yeah, they really do seem frustrated. And, you know, whenever your guys, you know, are just fighting at the end of the game, you know, they're in the heads of the Everblades. And But, you know, I think the Growlers are going to continue this momentum and keep toying with them. You know, we got Zach Solo out there who's going to keep getting in their faces.
He really was the catalyst for a lot of that last night.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's going to be a good couple games here at the Mary Brown Center, and I think, you know, the Growlers are going to roll with the momentum.
Hope so. Brady, do you want to start Luke Cavalin again in Game 4 after his performance in Game 3?
Yeah, I think it's probably Luke's net to lose again. And
I think so.
We said this has been a tandem all year, so I think that's the right approach to it, right? Mm-hmm. You give Dryden every chance to succeed because he's earned it. You make the change because, you know, your back's against the wall.
Yeah, and the change wasn't even made because Dryden had played poorly. That is not the case. And again, I alluded to it last time. Sometimes in a game, you pull the goalie after a rough team start. Exactly. Well, that's essentially what just happened. You know, giving the other goalie a look, maybe a jolt in the arm, and it appeared to be that for the Growlers. So hopefully, I agree. I would love to see Luke Cavalin take the net again. I was a little surprised that we didn't see maybe a Darian Plouffe draw in, maybe a Simon Kubicek. I think there's maybe a chance that we might see some fresh bodies given how that game ended so physically, or if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You won the game 4-1. Do you roll the same unit out there?
I think if they're expecting a game where it's going to be a lot of physicality, it'd be nice to see a Plouffe or a Kubicek draw.
Or a Hallwell or a Budgel. Don't get me wrong, I'm not picking favorites here, but I don't know. Kubicek would be a lot of fun to see in this series, wouldn't he?
He would. I'd personally be surprised if they made any changes. I
agree, ultimately.
Instead of taking one in, one out, we've seen changes within the guys who were already in from game 2, and I think it's pretty hard to argue that worked. And like you said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This team has a history of running it back with the lineup if they can find a win on the road, especially.
Yeah, and now I think we can start to see the flip side of the format start to benefit the Growlers.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're used to coming away with more than one win on the road, but what a luxury that's been for the Growlers. But down 2-1 now with 4 straight in their building. The Everblades are 5-1 on the road. But they have not had to travel to Newfoundland. They went to Jacksonville in South Carolina. I mean, they're practically day trips. Yeah. What do we think of that factor of the Everblades having to travel in with, is that going to factor in, or now am I grasping at straws?
I don't think, obviously, like you said, they're phenomenal on the road, but they haven't played in their barn.
That's true.
When the Growlers are rolling, they get out and they get their offense going early, just hard to quiet the fans at the Mary Brown Centre.
That's a fact.
The fans, they're really electrify our lineup, and I think it's going to be a tough task for Florida if they can't get on the Growlers early.
Brady, yes, they are sharing a flight back home, the Growlers and Everblades. I mean, I'm sure no one wants to end up on the list and never fly again, but something tells me that's maybe not going to be the most comfortable flight either team takes.
No, I mean, if I'm in the same row as Cam Johnson, if he's an aisle seat guy or a window seat guy, whatever it is, he can have it. I just want to play on Thursday. I know that much. So, no, I mean, it's, like you said, this isn't unprecedented, but it is a fun little anecdote.
Oh, for sure.
Generally speaking, these guys do a pretty good job of, leaving that stuff to Thursday. So we'll see if they can just put that on pause, land here in one piece, and then get back at it on Thursday night.
That's a minimum of 2 games to be played right back here in Newfoundland at the Mary Brown Centre. Game 4 is on Thursday at 7 p.m. Game 5 on Sunday at 4 p.m. Just enough to ruin the Monaco Grand Prix for those fans who may be enjoying that. That's a shout out to Kurt. Who do you look to in when now that the series is shifting back to the Mary Brown Centre to help get the Growlers over the hump and tie this series up on Thursday?
I think I got to go with Isaac Johnson. I think he looked really well last night. He was skating really well out there. He was entering the zone with ease, it looked like. And, that shot is just phenomenal.
It is lethal.
I think you can expect to see a good game at Isaac Johnson, maybe couple points, couple goals, maybe. I think the team leader in points got to have a big game for us.
The league leader, Brady. Who's your pick?
I don't think anybody likes scoring goals at home more than Pavel Gogolev. Right?
Great point.
I think it's got to be Gogo for me. For some reason, Isaac's my road warrior guy. Seems to love just silencing building. Nobody loves getting the Mary Brown Centre more fired up than Pavel Gogolev.
Well, I can't argue with either of those picks, but for me, the heart and soul so far in this series for the Growlers has been Zach Solo. And he's another guy who just feeds off the energy in this building. He's one I'm going to be looking forward to watching, carrying some of that momentum back into the Mary Brown Centre again. Game 4 is Thursday at 7 p.m., Game 5 Sunday at 4 p.m. Hopefully even more to come after that, but those are the ones we have locked in for sure. I think that's going to do it here, folks, for today on the Doghouse. Don't forget, get your tickets for Game 4 and 5 at nlgrowlers.com/tickets. He's Brady. He's KC. I'm Chris. See you next time.